Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the British Tier 7 Premium Medium Tank, the Banshee Comet. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Banshee Comet. First of all, Merry Christmas everybody, if you do celebrate on the Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody else as well, you know, just a nice day off, good times, family, presents, food, lots of food. Oh, food, yes, I like food. So, yeah, it's Christmas. So I thought, why not pick a good old look at the Irish British medium tank? Leprechauns are Christmassy, right? Four-leaf clovers? Christmas? Yeah? Yeah! I think so. Maybe. So, if you haven't guessed by the title, as always, this is the third Mark of Excellence video run for... Wow, that's a lucky start. This is the run for the third Mark of Excellence for the Banshee Comet, which is one I've meant to 3-mark for a long while. I've had the original Comet 3-marked for ages. The Banshee is just a premium version of it. It's ever so slightly better, and by ever so slightly better, it's just like some little bits of soft stats are slightly different to the tech tree one. Help it a little bit, but it's not like it's massively better. It's Comet. It's proper old school. It struggles in a lot of regards, but it also can still be pretty decent. You've got a very fast rate of fire. You've got low alpha. Your penetration struggles in bottom tier matchups. Your mobility is pretty okay. Your camo can get down to a decent level. You've got a good view range. Overall, tier for tier, it's worse than the Cromwell, which is the tier below it in the tech tree. Obviously, if you're talking about premiums, Cromwell B, Cromwell Knight, you know, like, they are generally better than this tier for tier. And can be a bit more fun, to be honest. But the 12 degrees gun depression this vehicle has is glorious. Like I say, you've got a very fast rate of fire, 2.84 second reload with the build that I run, which is 2.9k DPM. 148 penetration on the standard AP, which, like I say, struggles in a tier 9 matchup. It struggles in a fair few tier 8 matchups as well, especially if the more heavily armoured vehicles are in it. 208 penetration on the premium APCR, again, struggles a little bit into tier 9 matchmaking and can be a bit painful at times. With that 140 alpha damage, which means you are basically cutting people. You're not really damaging them, you're just slowly but surely whittling down their hit points, which means especially when you're in those, again, those more bottom tiery matchups, you're not trading quite as well, and you really do feel it compared to some of the other medium tanks, especially at tier 7. You're talking like Leo or CS44, etc., with 240 or 300 alpha, depending on the gun you pick, right? Which can be pretty nice for those vehicles, but this tank doesn't have that luxury. You've got 785 meters a second shell velocity on the standard AP, with 981 meters a second shell velocity on the premium APCR, which means you're way below average on the shell velocity on the standard round, and on the premium round, again, you're still below average, just a little bit at 981, meaning that the premium round makes the gun handling feel far better than the standard round, especially if you're firing at distance, but the standard round is very slow, and the premium round still isn't that much, well, it's not that much better, realistically. You do have 0.28 accuracy at 100 meters, which is really not too bad, if we're honest, but with 0.83 accuracy during rotation and 1.7 accuracy during movement with the build that I run. And that is running the gun stabilizer, because if you don't run the gun stabilizer, those two numbers are exceptionally higher, and this gun feels awful. It feels so derpy if you don't help it, that it can be really frustrating. Because there is an argument to run the camo net to have the filthy camo, and then fire from stationary, so you don't have to suffer it too badly. But especially when you need to be a bit more snappy on the move, like you do want to be running and gunning in this vehicle at times, it can be really frustrating at times, so you really want to help it out. You've got the 12 degrees gun depression, like I've said, which is absolutely fantastic. 51.5 km/h top speed with an 18 km/h reverse speed means you are a fairly mobile medium tank. 19.88 horsepower per ton ratio as well means you will hit that 51 km/h top speed. Realistically, if you wanted to go faster, you could run the traction system and you will hit 56 km/h. 319 meters of still concealment means you've got pretty decent camo as well. You can get even lower with a camo net, which is why there's an argument you could run it, but it's down to you and how you feel comfortable with the vehicle. The gun handling, like I say, just felt exceptionally annoying without it, so I just felt like I didn't want to run that and I wanted to run the gun stabilizer. And then the view range is up to 486 meters of view range, which is pretty damn nice for a tier 7 medium tank, meaning you can spot for yourself pretty well. So what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment on the Comet? Well, I do run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, with the Advanced Loader, the Gun Stabilizer, and Optics. Optics to be able to spot for myself, get that 486 meters of view range. Gun Stabilizer to get that accuracy during movement and rotation down as low as possible, with the Advanced Loader to get the best DPM I can out of it. All three gun perks again to help the gun, because the gun can feel derpy, so you want to help it out if you can. camouflage expertise to knock the camo down to that 319 meters of still concealment, with the silent driving to be able to keep the on the move concealment down to 329, so that we can stay fairly stealthy and take fairly well concealed positions without getting spotted. But like I said, there's multiple ways you can run the Comet. It's down to you and how you feel comfortable. You can set up to make the gun better, like running the gun stabilizer. You can make the camo better by running the camo net. There's plenty of ways you can run it. It's just down to how you feel comfortable playing the vehicle. And as you can see with that first game, that poor T-32 really wanted us, but we managed to get rid of him. We finished with the victory. The 4 kills, 4.4k damage in a tier 8 game, which is really nice. That 2.1k, nearly 2.2k base XP. 1,042 assistance, ace tanker, the Confederate, with, like I said, that 2.2k nearly base XP. A really nice game there in a tier 8 game for the Banshee Comet. Like I say, it's one of those tanks that, this is a proper old school tank. The Comet in general is a proper old school tank. And it's one that can really struggle in bad matchups, but really do well in a top tier. Because you have that DPM, and the DPM is fantastic. The turret armor on it is okay, and by that I mean it's okay for top tier, and if you're using your full 12 degrees of gun depression, you can bounce some shots off the turret front, but generally don't rely on it, because if you rely on it, it's not going to end well. So we're on the second replay, I should say second replay, and this is the last replay. This is where we are going to hopefully achieve our third mark of excellence, and we've made the aggressive spotting push on the middle road on Lakeville. So if you want to spot on Lakeville, you really need to basically go to F4, not F4, sorry, F4, and then spot that cross, and then pull back to this rock to get safe. If you get caught like we did there, you will die very, very quickly, and it can get very, very awkward as well, obviously when someone else comes with you into this middle rock, because as soon as that happens, you struggle to get back into the rock position as well, because this is the only safety spot on the middle road, and it's not gonna go well. If you don't push out from this rock, you will not spot the enemy, and you will end up starting getting farmed because, well, you can't spot the enemy, therefore you won't get any assistance, which means that they will spot you as well if they have someone who runs down to F7, because that is a good counter spot for this position if you're playing against it and you see someone here, is that the light tank can go to a rock at F7, go in the bush, they'll spot you, and then you're farmable by the TDs that camp at K6. So we're already up to 1,655 assistance with 275 damage, which is okay. Not great for when we're going for the third mark of excellence. We got that 1,655 assistance because we pushed aggressively and spotted the K-line, but because of light tank and because we fired as well, we got spotted, which meant we lost a lot of hit points, and then we lost a lot of hit points trying to be able to get back into that rock as well with our ally there. But thankfully we both managed to get back in behind the rock and we both survived it. So we've fallen back because, again, there's no point staying there with two of us there, and we were constantly getting spotted, so it was just pointless staying there and just getting farmed, essentially. So we may as well fall back to a better position and see what we can do. We're watching that ridgeline for the shell tracers. We saw one fly, so we're going to load APCR, because I thought if there's something armoured there, I'm not going to really pen it with AP. So we may as well fire the 208 pen APCR, and yeah, we'll be able to be alright. But they are coming through the valley behind us. So a TD and a medium tank have gone back for it. Our heavy tanks are pushing out the 9-0. So I think, okay, with the medium tank now leaving this position at E4, if I poke out and try and spot, I have a very good chance of being able to get back safely. Because as you saw a minute ago, it gets very awkward. If there's two of you at that rock, it gets very, very awkward. You end up stuck in a position where you're just trying to outmaneuver each other to be able to get into the rock and get safe, which you can quite easily get two people there. It's just down to your driving skills. And my driving skills is terrible. And yeah, it can be very, very awkward. So our guys are pushing out the town. So that means we can now put shots down range and help them out by farming into the guys that are sitting at K9, because they will expose their sides and their rears to us, and we can get safe behind this little ridge line. Maybe we could spot anything that's camping on the little campy spots as well, because you never know. We actually end up spotting a T-34, and I was like, oh boy, that's a T-34. I didn't see that guy. That was really bad awareness. But because we've got bushes between me and him, he's only 230 meters away, but because we've got bushes between us, he actually can't see us, and he's seeing 148 pen is just even bouncing off the lower plate of a T-34, which isn't the most well-armoured vehicle in the universe, but there we go. So the 110 is trying to shoot us, which I was quite surprised about. I thought the ISM and the 110 would be distracted by all the tanks that were in front of them, but we can't actually pen an ISM with 148 pen, sorry, at this distance. So we load the premium, we end up tracking him, which is not quite what we want for a 3-mark attempt, because generally you don't want to track and spot. Because with marking, if you didn't know, when you're going for 3 marks, only one of spotting and tracking counts. So if you have 1,000 tracking and 1,001 spotting, only 1,001 spotting would count. 1,000 tracking would just be a waste of assistance, essentially, at that point. Which I always thought was a bit silly, because it should reward you for both types of assistance. But that means that if you end up by accidentally splitting it, so you end up tracking someone and getting 1,600 assistance on the tracking, but you were the only one spotting them, sometimes the spotting system will give you just the tracking, but sometimes it will only give you the spotting. And that means that, yeah, if it combines, then you can look at it and go, I've got 2,800 assistance, that's great. But for all I know, 1,402 of that is tracking and 1,401 of that is spotting, and that means that my combined is actually way, way lower, which means that, yeah, my chances of getting the 3 mark will be way lower. But currently, we know that we've pretty much only got spotting. So we've got 2.8k spotting, 1,730 damage. So we're actually at 3.8k. Make that 4.3, 4.4, 4.5k. Quick maths, bro. It's maths. Who wants to do maths on Christmas Eve, which is when I'm filming this video? Who wants to do maths on that? Ah, it's for eating and, well, it's Christmas. It's Christmas. And we only want to eat. We don't want to do maths. And now I'll make it, there we go, easy. 4.8k assistance, or combined, I should say. Which means we've easily got the 3rd mark, because I was at like 94.3, I think it was, before this match. So, we've easily got it. We managed to get, that was a clutch shot, by the way, just saying. I aimed straight for the outside drive wheel with the Lorraine charging in, which then spiraled his tank the opposite way, meaning he missed his shot. We retracked him, and, well, we're farming the poor Tier 7 French artillery. We get all of his hit points. M12 comes out, we track him in place. The reason I track him, I know that obviously tracking assist isn't going to help me with Mark of Excellence, but at this point I'm pretty convinced I've got it, and that just means that the M12 stays pinned in place where I can keep farming him. And we finished the game with a really nice total there, the 5 and a bit K combined, 3 kills, 3.2k damage, 2.8k assistance, 137,000 credits made as well, which is nice. Pescuchis, Ace Tanker, the 3rd Mark of Excellence, the Sniper Medal, with the 2.1k base XP. And yeah, that's one thing to note with this Banshee, by the way, is it has 160% silver earn rate, which is really good for a Tier 7 tank, which means this tank does actually make good credits if you don't have to fire too much premium, which it does when it's in a bad matchup. But yeah, that's the 3rd Mark of Excellence for the Banshee Comet. Like I say, totally Christmassy tank, but Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Happy holidays for everybody in general. I hope you have a good day, and I'll catch you next time.
A great success.